Hello everyone and welcome to your weekly dose of Truth Tarot. My name is Terryann Nikitas, or T-T-E-A. What we're looking at here is, this is a fairy tarot. Let's pull a little card to see, you can see what kind of tarot it looks like. So they got little fairies. Let me just throw that, oops, it went off the table. So we don't want that one. Maybe I'll just go pick it up so it's not. There we go, on the ground. We'll leave it open. And what we're gonna look at today is, where are we headed? You know, I left it open. I mean, I know I'm doing the week of, it's April, April 17th to the 23rd, right? 17 to the 23rd. And, you know, I just been kind of wondering what's going to happen. I think I mentioned in one video that I haven't really been seeing the future. So usually I have an idea, people ask me questions, and I have bing, 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 really quick, got answers. And I have not been having those. It's been quite a while, probably a year or more. So today I want to look at, where are we headed? So we'll do 3 cards. Here's one. This is the world. Okay, so we're talking about the world. And where are we headed? This is the present position. This is the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is not empires and stuff like that. This is when wisdom needs to be expressed. So in the world, there are people expressing wisdom. Now, this is a religious symbol from Christianity, of course, as we know. It is the cross. It is the cross that Christ bore to go to his crucifixion. So it does say, all right, we're the Hierophant, but we're always cognizant of bearing that cross. We have to, Jordan Peterson says that you got to pick up your responsibility, the heaviest one, and bear it. That's what you have to do. That is the focus, has been the focus of my work since I was a kid. You know, I remember saying to myself when I was about 15, you know what, the buck stops here with me. I have to take responsibility. It was quite a journey. You know, sometimes I was taking responsibility with an agenda. Like, let's say I would have a discussion with my mom. I would say, okay, I take responsibility for everything I'm doing. And she'd say, you're being obnoxious. And I go, yes, I agree with you. I'm taking responsibility for my obnoxious behavior. But I had an expectation attached to it that she would also take responsibility for her, you know, lack of communication or ignorance in a subject, and that I would usually blame and say, well, she's doing this, so I'm getting more and more obnoxious. And then I would go, no, I take responsibility for my obnoxiousness, stop acting obnoxious, start to behave properly. And but it wasn't quite that way. There was an underlying, let's say, subconscious, maybe even unconscious, because I worked for it. You know, I said, I've got to take responsibility, not get other people to take responsibility. But at the same time, you know, I was still doing it. I'd still discover, I'd go and do something and I'd still discover, oh, you're trying to get the other person to take responsibility as well. And that's not good, right? I take responsibility, bear my cross, bear my responsibilities, live my life, make myself better, and then improve things for others and society because I've made things better. But I would still backtrack a bit. And, you know, to this day, you know, this is a masculine, it's male. So it's really the masculine. So my masculine can do that, but I'm born in a female body. So that feminine is a little bit bigger, right? So, you know, most of the people in this field, I mean, you could look at how different and how similar men and women are. It's not very dissimilar. It is not. It is a small percentage. So let's say when you're female, you're 51% feminine and 49% masculine. And when you're in a male body, you're 51% masculine, 49% feminine. That's someone told me that. But also when you listen to personality tests and you see the difference between men and women, yeah, there's a difference. But in so many ways, we are more similar than we are different. But those differences are significant enough to say, if you don't take responsibility for your differences and how they play out in you, right? I mean, I'm not as strong as a man. I would love right now in my life to maybe go and be an engineer and have those smarts. Some women do. I don't feel like I know how to do that. I'm good at people, which is very much what women are good at. We're very good with people. It's just the way we are. I don't know if it'll ever change. We will evolve into something else, but you can't force evolution and genetics. You can't. You're going to end up faking it, right? Just like I was trying to be responsible, and there are certain parts of me that I can never be responsible for. Like I can't be responsible for having an army and I lead the army. Why? Because I don't have the force to do that. Anyway, that's a whole other subject, but I can take responsibility for being the weaker sex, even though I'm quite strong as the weaker sex, and be able to work together with the stronger sex and be able to serve the stronger sex in a great way to take care of myself and be able to bear my burdens so that my partner, the males in my life, bear theirs. So this is kind of what this is all about. It does have this dynamic. The world, you could say, is everything, and within everything you're going to have chaos. As you can see going through the door, what's out there? You got some pretty butterflies, you got some nice things, but you can hit chaos. Then it tells us, oh, look where you're going to hit. This is what you're going to hit. You're going to have to hit responsibility, and you're going to have to hit masculine responsibility. That means that even if you're female, you must accept responsibility. Or if you've decided to be less than what you are as a man, then you're going to have to improve that for yourself. And that's for everyone. So now let's see. So we bear the cross, we become also wiser. And if you don't know how to do it, you go to your teachers, right? You go to people who can help you become wiser. You go to people who can help you carry your burdens in life. You go to people who can show you how you carry that burden, right? A lot of times people go out and try to do something and they don't know how to do it. And then they'll say to someone, how do I do it? Or what do I do now? And people will say something. I find this the most ridiculous answer. You can do whatever you want. Well, you wouldn't ask the question if you knew what it was you wanted to do. So you have to narrow things down. You have to start looking at, well, what are some things that you might notice that you're good at? So many people tell me nothing. So I tell them, well, go back to when you were a little kid and you went to play. What did you most like to do? Right? So some women will tell me, I love to dance. Great. Go dancing. Go dancing. Open up a dance school. You may not be the famous dancer, but you can be in dance all day long and produce. Learn something, that it revolves around the dance world. Go and be a benevolent person in the dance world, whether it's ballet, jazz, or something popular. There are many ways to live out your dream, and you can figure it out by what you're competent at. Like if you're going to be benevolent and find ways to raise funds for all of the dance schools in the world, or you decide you want to bring dance to schools and you need to fundraise, well, see, are you capable with fundraising? You can find many, many things. You're not just unilateral. You're not just like, I like dance and that's the end of it, And some people will tell me, well, I like dance and I want to be the dancer, but, I have a deformed spine. All right, take responsibility and figure what is the most wonderful thing you can do. What is the greatest advantage you can take, all right? So when I was a kid, I was like Lucy in Peanuts. Everybody came to me for advice. Even when I was like 6, 7, and 8, everyone came to me to ask me for advice. It was just in my nature. So, here I am giving lots of advice. All right. So, two beautiful cards for where we're going. Where the world is going into a space where it tells us right now we must carry our cross. Now, of course, there are people who are not doing that, right? And there are some people who are doing it. So if you're not doing it, you would start to look at methods with which to do that. Now, if these two things, the world is not carrying its cross, or the world is carrying its cross, we'll see what the outcome is. If the outcome is positive, it's saying, wow, this will be great. You know, you're going to carry your cross and you will be able to create a beautiful world, which I would have preferred this card be here, like something else here that we would learn to take responsibility for and then change. But it's not like that. It's this way. So let's see. Where do we go? Let's see. Here's a card. Okay. Okay. Well, that's not good, right? That is not good. So this is, I don't know if you can see my hands shaking. I'm not happy with this card. Okay. I want to cry a little bit. So everything that I've spoken about here before this card even came out is serious. It's very serious. And by the way, they're all major arcanas. The others are not like, oh, you know, we're going to have a bad day for a few moments. This is on the vertical. This is what is influencing us through the dimensions. This is beyond space and time. This is a period in our lives where, or in history, where we are, if we are not carrying the cross, we are not bearing that burden, we are not really seeing how to be responsible, well, the tower is going to come. And if you think about the biblical story, the Tower of Babel, that is all about God saying, okay, you're trying to be gods, right? You're not bearing your burden. You want somebody else to do it. You're not moral and ethical. Well, okay. Without morality and without ethics, well, what's going to happen, right? You are trying to use power dynamics over people. These are all the things that go on in the Tower of Babel. God looked down and went, hey, you guys, you're trying to be gods on your own, which is egocentrism. Have we noticed the rise in narcissism? Have we noticed the rise in egocentrism? Have we noticed the rise in me? It's all about me. I've got to be me. I've got to have what I want. It's all about me. It's not about you. You're stopping me from getting what I want. This means you no longer see that there's something beyond you. That can be society. That can be that other people have thoughts and feelings too. You're not the only one. When that happens, we have sheer destruction. The tower falls. So there's your good news for the week. Your good news is think, well, if you're going out in the world, you've got to bear your burden, which is going to support everyone. You bear your own burden. You are responsible for your flaws, your foibles, and you stop saying me, kind of like that example that came up when I was talking, where someone would go, well, you know, I was a really good dancer and I like to dance, and well, I didn't quite make it because my parents didn't want me to. Okay, and now you have the opportunity to become a dancer. Well, no, I don't. You need to start dancing when you're 3. No, you can figure out something. You're not taking responsibility for your life and your history. You're putting it on someone else, and you're saying the only tiny, me, egocentric option is to become the famous ballerina that started ballet at 4 years old, when there are many other options if you love to dance, right? If you love to dance. So that is what destroys the world. That destroys your life. You sit around all day long going, oh, I wish I were a dancer, and my parents. Insert anything in there, right? Insert anything that you are saying in your life. I can't do that because I didn't do this. You know, I had a period in my life where I lost everything. And I started from scratch. I just worked and I started from scratch. And that's all I could do. I'm old. I should have way more classically. Like if you think about people who bought a home when they were in their 20s and were able to, no, it didn't work out for me. I bought my home in my 50s and with someone else. It wasn't even on my own. So does that matter? No, I took responsibility. I go, okay, so the banks will not give an independent woman who doesn't have any employees, who is teaching. I'm saying woman, but they won't do it with a man either, by the way. You have to have a job, even if it's a silly job, even if it's at McDonald's for 2 days a week. You have a higher chance of getting a mortgage than you do if you were me, making way more money than working at McDonald's twice a week. But it just seems unreliable. They just think it's unreliable. So it took me years before they offered me a teeny tiny mortgage, teeny tiny. And then with my partner, he got a teeny tiny mortgage. He had a greater mortgage than me though, because he had a job and he had a business. So I could have done that too. Instead, I chose, because I was very busy. I worked very hard and was super busy. There was no time to get another job, and I was doing well. So I said, well, I'll just save up the money and prove myself. And then, okay, it finally happened, that I met someone. I got my mortgage. He had his mortgage, and we were able to buy a house. But we're older. Yeah, I'm in my 60s. I'm an older woman. I know a lot of friends who died at this age, and even relatives who've died at this age from different stressors. So, and what is I think we're at 78 or something. The lifespan has gone down, and I've had a few health issues. I mean, you could tell that somebody who's in the healing work usually is doing that, usually, not all the time, does it because they do have health issues. Sometimes they just want to help people, but usually it's because you have health issues. So, originally I was in more of the metaphysical work and consciousness shifting and tarot, but then I went more and more into actual physical healing because my body was not functioning as well. So, there we go. So everyone, please take heed. Hope my stories can help you, can support you. I can only make those whiny voices because I remember when. Okay, I have moments where I go, yeah, I can't do that because I didn't do this. And then I go, all right, now you said it, you complained about it, get up off your butt and go do something about it. Otherwise, you will be part of your own destruction. And if any of you care, if anyone of you care, there are other people in the world. There's your society. There are people that you want to relate to. There are lovely, lovely, lovely people in this world. Lovely ones. Yeah, there are some mean people, but they're just lovely people. And they can be part of your community and make life beautiful. And that has always been a big part of what I like to do. If I get better, everyone around me is better. If I can help people get better, so their family is better, their kids are better, their life is better, okay? Instead of the destruction. Now, you could say, is that a guarantee? Well, nothing's a guarantee, number one. It's a high probability according to the cards today. But once this destruction occurs, we don't know what will be destroyed, right? So whatever gets destroyed, what would come next is, once there's the destruction, then you have a birthing, right? So you go back to the idea, good times make, strong men make good times. Good times make weak men. Weak men make bad times. This is the weakness, right? When you're not bearing your cross in the world, right? And we know, especially us older people, watching the younger generation becoming more and more anxious, we got to do something to help these folks. These kids should not be so anxious. We had a good time in many parts of childhood. The memories of childhood for so many people. And then I talk to young people and they're just not. I'm talking about people that are struggling, from 12 to 18, and they're having a hard time. and they're being medicated. This is terrible. It's terrible. We were not medicated. We were just not. Why not? Different focus, maybe? Maybe less me. Maybe more, what about my neighbor? Maybe less, a lot of people accuse the period I was born in, the boomers, for destroying everything. And, I would say that I didn't get the benefits of being a boomer. Okay, I just didn't. There are certain things, which there must be many boomers who did not get the benefits of being a boomer for themselves personally. I was more about everybody else. So that's just a little glitch. But many boomers, were able to, they got their houses in the 80s. They did really well. They made, I have a ton of friends who are millionaires, if not multimillionaires, right? I'm just not in that place, right? Because my focus was on everybody else. I wanted everybody else to be okay. I wanted to improve myself for everyone else. And I wasn't so much me. I wasn't about, what am I going to get out of this? I was like, I'm doing this, and just doing it for someone else gives me something. Yeah, okay, didn't work out so well financially. All right, but I'm happy. Okay, so I'm happy. I'm happy with how things turned out. I'm happy that people can come to me and I can at least help them out with something, or they have a shoulder to lean on. So some food for thought, and please remember, this is possible. Bye, everyone.